Fourth Adhyaya of Kaushitaki Upanishad, translated by Max Müller. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Jyoti Taravanat. There was formerly Gargaya Balaki, famous as a man of great reading, for it was said of him that he lived among the Usinaras, among the Satvat Matsyas, the Kuru Panchalas, the Kasi Videhas. Having gone to Anjatasatru, the king of Kasi, he said to him, "Shall I tell you, Brahman?" Anjatasatru said to him, "We give 1,000 cows for that speech of yours, for verily all people run away, saying, Janaka, the king of Mithila, is our father, patron." Balaki said, "The person that is in the sun, on him I meditate as Brahman." Ajatasatru said to him, No, do not challenge me to disputation on this. I meditate on him who is called great, clad in white raiment, the supreme, the head of all beings. Whoso meditates on him thus becomes supreme and the head of all beings. Balaki said, "The person that is in the moon, on him I meditate." Ajatasatru said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as Soma, the king, the self, source of all food. Whoso meditates on him thus becomes the self, source of all food." Balaki said, "The person that is in the lightning, on him I meditate." Ajatasatru said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as the self in light. Whoso meditates on him thus becomes the self in light." Balaki said, "The person that is in the thunder, on him I meditate." Ajatasatru said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as the self of sound. Whoso meditates on him thus becomes the self of sound." Balaki said, "The person that is in the ether, on him I meditate." Ajatasatru said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as the full, quiescent Brahman. Whoso meditates on him thus is filled with offspring and cattle. Neither he himself nor his offspring dies before the time." Balaki said, "The person that is in the air, on him I meditate." Ajatasatru said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as Indra, Vaikunta, as the unconquerable army. Whoso meditates on him thus becomes victorious, unconquerable, conquering his enemies." Balaki said, "The person that is in the fire, on him I meditate." Ajatasatru said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as powerful. Whoso meditates on him thus becomes powerful among others." Balaki said, "The person that is in the water, on him I meditate." Ajatasatru said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as the self of the name. Whoso meditates on him thus becomes the self of the name." So far with regard to deities, mythological. Now with regard to the body, physiological. Balaki said, "The person that is in the mirror, on him I meditate." Ajatasatru said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as the likeness. Whoso meditates on him thus, to him a son is born in his family who is his likeness, not one who is not his likeness." Balaki said, "The person that is in the echo, on him I meditate." Ajatasattu said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as the second, who never goes away. Whoso meditates on him thus, he gets a second from his second, his wife. He becomes doubled." Balaki said, "The sound that follows a man, on that I meditate." Ajatasattu said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as life. Whoso meditates on him thus, neither he himself nor his offspring will faint before the time." Balaki said, "The person that is in the shadow, on him I meditate." Ajatasattu said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as death. Whoso meditates on him thus, neither he himself nor his offspring will die before the time." Balaki said, "The person that is embodied, on him I meditate." Ajatasattu said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as Lord of creatures. Whoso meditates on him thus is multiplied in offspring and cattle." Balaki said, "The self which is conscious Prajna, and by whom he who sleeps here walks about in sleep, on him I meditate." Ajatasattu said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as Yama, the king. Whoso meditates on him thus, everything is subdued for his excellencies." Balaki said, "The person that is in the right eye, on him I meditate." Ajatasattu said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as the self of the name, as the self of fire, as the self of splendor. Whoso meditates on him thus, he becomes the self of these." Balaki said, "The person that is in the left eye, on him I meditate." Ajatasattu said to him, "Do not challenge me on this. I meditate on him as the self of the true, as the self of lightning, as the self of light. Whoso meditates on him thus, he becomes the self of these." After this, Balaki became silent. Ajatasattu said to him, "Thus far only do you know, O Balaki?" "Thus far only," replied Balaki. Then Ajatasattu said to him, "Vainly did you challenge me, saying, 'Shall I tell you Brahman?' O Balaki, he who is the maker of those persons whom you mentioned, he of whom all this is the work, he alone is to be known." Thereupon Balaki came, carrying fuel in his hand, saying, "May I come to you as a pupil?" Ajatasattu said to him, "I deem it improper that a Kshatriya should initiate a Brahmana. Come, I shall make you know clearly." Then, taking him by the hand, he went forth, and the two together came to a person who was asleep. And Ajatasattu called him, saying, "Thou great one, clad in white raiment, Soma king!" But he remained lying. Then he pushed him with a stick, and he rose at once. Then said Ajatasattu to him, "Balaki, where did this person here sleep? Where was he? Whence came he thus back?" Balaki did not know. And Ajatasattu said to him, "Where this person here slept, where he was, whence he thus came back is this: the arteries of the heart, called Hita, extend from the heart of the person towards the surrounding body, small as a hair divided 1,000 times. They stand full of a thin fluid of various colors: white, black, yellow, red. In these the person is when sleeping; he sees no dream. Then he becomes one with that prana alone. Then speech goes to him with all names, the eye with all forms, the ear with all sounds, the mind with all thoughts. And when he awakes, then as from a burning fire sparks proceed in all directions, thus from that self the pranas, speech, etc., proceed each towards its place. From the pranas, the gods; from the gods, the worlds. And as a razor might be fitted in a razor case, or as fire in the fireplace, the arani on the altar, even thus this conscious self enters the self of the body, considers the body as himself, to the very hairs and nails, and the other selves, such as speech, etc., follow that self, as his people follow the master of the house. And as the master feeds with his people, nay, as his people feed on the master, thus does this conscious self feed with the other selves, as a master with his people, and the other selves follow him, as his people follow the master. So long as Indra did not understand that self, the Asuras conquered him. When he understood it, he conquered the Asuras and obtained the preeminence among all gods, sovereignty, supremacy. And thus also he who knows this obtains preeminence among all beings, sovereignty, supremacy. Yeah, he who knows this. End of 4th Adhyaya. End of Kaushitaki Upanishad. Recording by Jyoti Taravanat.